All right, let's go ahead and get started this morning. Welcome everybody back once again to episode number 40 of the Terry Hansen Show. As you know, my name is Terry Hansen. I'm here with my special co-host, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, and greetings once again from the Podunk Potato Land in Idaho. It's great to be with you. Today, you and I have got to spend a little time talking about how to get someone on the phone. If you're an entrepreneur or a sales professional or a freelancer and you know that you're under the obligation to go out and find new business for your company, and you know that you need to send emails or you need to make some outbound phone calls to try to introduce yourself. And one of the challenges that you might run into is as you make these phone calls to companies to try to get a hold of the executives or the business owner to try to introduce yourself, what you'll probably notice is that it can be very difficult just to get somebody on the phone. You'll run into the gatekeeper or the receptionist or the administrative assistant. You ask for the business owner, and what happens? They're always in a meeting. They're always on the phone. They're always not available. They're always not in the office. They're just not there. And so what? You leave a voice message and it doesn't get returned. You try to send an email and it doesn't get responded to. And so you can kind of keep up that barrage, and it can be pretty frustrating. And so let me tell you a quick story before we dive into 4 tactics that you can use to just simply get people on the phone. My kids this last weekend caught a praying mantis in our front yard. They were ecstatic. They were super excited. So my 9-year-old quickly ran into the house. Dad, look. And he opened up his hand and he showed me this praying mantis, this beautiful green, gangly, kind of long, thin bug. And he was super excited. So we put it in a Tupperware, put some plastic wrap over it, put a rubber band around it and poked some holes in the top. Not before putting some grass and some twigs and some leaves in there. And he was fascinated. He thought it was the greatest thing. And I told him that praying mantises like to eat insects and other bugs. So he quickly, my son Max, ran around and found moths and grasshoppers and other sorts of stuff and put them in there. And he had just had a ball watching the praying mantis munch on these other insects and bugs. And for all intents and purposes, that praying mantis had it made. Food hand-fed to him. He doesn't have to go anywhere, doesn't have to do anything. Life was pretty darn good, as a matter of fact. Again, food brought in every day, just get a basket there and you just kind of reach over with your tentacle there and your claw and you snap up the food. Life's pretty good. Well, about 2 days later, we were out by the trampoline in our backyard, out by the pool, and I was out there cleaning and doing some things, and I noticed there was another praying mantis just sitting right there on the side of the pool. And I said, "Hey guys." And they quickly ran over and look what I found. And wow, they exploded with excitement. And I said, "Now be careful when you put one of my other kids said, let's put him in with the other one." And I said, "Now be careful when these two guys get together, they're going to fight each other and one's not going to make it." Right? So they thought that was going to be great sport. And so they quickly snatched up this second praying mantis and went and stuck it in the container with the first. And sure enough, boy, oh boy, it didn't take long for those two praying mantises to go to each other. And actually the next day they went out and looked, and there was pieces of one praying mantis all over the place and whatnot. And I thought about that quite a bit, that how good the life was of that praying mantis there. Having all the comforts at home all around and everything great, having food brought in every single day. Don't really have to work at it. You don't have to search for it. It's right there. And then what comes along? Another praying mantis competition. And it was, I'm sure it was a brutal fight, and I'm not sure which of the praying mantises won. My guess is the bigger one. The second one that we found was a little bit bigger than the first. And so I have a hunch that competitor, that second praying mantis, came in and took over the territory, ate the first praying mantis. And isn't that what it's like? You and I as entrepreneurs, we're working hard to run our business. We've got competitors all around us, and they are constantly trying to take over our territory, eat our lunch, eat us, and get us bankrupt, because that means more market share for them. If we're in sales and we're a sales professional, then we've got other sales professionals inside of our company or outside of our company that are basically trying to do the same thing. We've worked hard to get our existing clients and our base, and we've got to keep our competitors out of our little Rubbermaid containers, and we got to fight. And so one of the primary ways that we do that is through prospecting, through new business development, through generating fresh, good quality leads, and working hard every day, every week, and every month to try to replenish the client base that we have worked so hard to put together. Now, and one of the obstacles that we run into is just simply other busy executives. If we sell B2B and we're trying to get a hold of other executives, then it can be a real challenge getting them on the phone. Now, here's what normally happens. And I noticed in one of the posts today, actually in Facebook, there was a good gentleman in one of the groups that I'm involved in. He said this: 46 cold calls today to B2B C-suite, $20 million sized companies during business hours. Got 0 decision makers on the phone live today. Cold emailed them today as well. No response on that front either. Is this par for the course? He asked. And he got several comments. And everybody who commented on that post said basically one of 6 things. A, in order for you to do a better job at getting people on the phone is you need to get more dials in. You need to make, I saw some people say you need to make 100 cold calls per day. 46 a day is not enough. You need to get to 100. Other people said, don't even talk to me until you're making 200 dials a day. Don't even talk to me until you're making 500. And people were encouraging him to get an auto dialer, a robo dialer that calls like 10 numbers at a time and that sort of thing, right? Is that the answer? Is just higher volume of calls? Is that the answer to getting people on the line? Other people said you just need better quality leads. The people that you're contacting, garbage leads. Find people who have more flexibility and more availability in their schedule. Other people said, well, the real secret is you need to get their cell phones. If you find their cell phone numbers, then bam, you're going to do a great job at getting to them. Other people said, well, the secret to getting a hold of people is having a good follow-up routine. You have to not only make one call, but you have to make a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, and an eighth, between 6 to 8 calls before you're going to get a hold of that one person. Is that sort of aggressive follow-up schedule? Is that the secret to success? Others said, well, B2B is the problem. The fact that you're calling CEOs and executives and executive managers, that really is the problem here. So if you switch to B2C, if you get into insurance or real estate or selling cars or doing stuff door to door, that's where you're actually going to have success getting a hold of people. But throw away business to business sales. That's garbage. Is that the answer? Other people said, well, you're probably just going to need a better script. If you had a better script to use, then you're going to do a better job at getting a hold of people. And this poor guy who put the post together, he was asking, well, I appreciate all the advice here about this and that and the other, but I can't even get anybody on the phone to use a script with. I know you want me to use better questions, but I need to ask better questions. I can't even get somebody to talk to. So I laugh at all of those answers because those answers are based in old world thinking. And they really do take the responsibility off of our shoulders as entrepreneurs and sales professionals and basically put the blame and the responsibility on something else. There's a fundamental reason why a lot of entrepreneurs struggle to get people on the phone. And we're going to go through that right now. So let me share with you one of the reasons why we fail so much at actually just getting a decision maker or somebody on the phone in the first place. And that's because we're truly not listening and we're not asking the right questions. The secret to getting somebody on the phone is actually with the gatekeeper, with the receptionist, with the administrative assistant. Now, walk with me here. The first thing that we need to do when we call into a company, or when we even face-to-face, when we walk into the business and we talk to the receptionist, the administrative assistant there, the gatekeeper, whatever, and we ask for the person that we need to speak with, the first thing that they always say, 9 out of 10 times, they say, I'm sorry, she's not available, or she's in a meeting, or she's on the phone, or she's out to lunch, or that sort of thing, right? The first thing that we have to know is this. We have to ask some good questions to learn exactly where they are. We need to know where they are, and we need to know exactly what they are doing. So one of the first questions that I really like to ask to the receptionist or the gatekeeper is, hi, I'm looking for John. Is he in the office or out of the office? That sort of question forces the gatekeeper to tell me which of one of 2 scenarios they're in. And regardless if they're in the office or out of the office, it doesn't matter. But I have to know where they're at. Are they in the office or out of the office? And I also need to know what exactly they're doing. Are they in the break room? Are they in a meeting? How long has that meeting been going? Are they out to lunch? Is it a business lunch? Are they out sick? Are they on vacation? Are they in the back of the warehouse? I need to know exactly what they're doing. Why? So that I can respond appropriately. So when I hear the question, when I ask for the person and they say, I'm sorry, they're not available, can I transfer you to their voicemail? Immediately, my second step is I need to start getting very, very curious. I need to start getting very curious and asking more questions about, again, what they're doing and where they're at in a polite, conversational, professional way. If I'm going to have any luck or any success at actually getting them on the phone, I need to figure out what the chessboard looks like. I need to figure out, again, where they're at, what they're doing, so I know how to position myself as a player in the best way so that I can have the highest likelihood of getting them on the phone. Right? So I ask questions like, how long has the meeting been going? Did they just get in, or have they been in there a while? Do you know if that call that they're on, is that a business call? Is it a personal call? How long have they been on? I ask questions to the receptionist to find out how long have they been out to lunch? Do you expect them back soon? Or, I ask questions to find out exactly where they are and what the context and situation is. Now, once I've got some good information there, I've asked maybe 2 or 3 questions to get some good understanding about where they are and what they're doing. Now it's time for some gambits. What are gambits? Gambits are simply tactics, maneuvers, and strategies. They're techniques. They're little things that we do, like in chess. We move different ways, different player, different pieces, different directions for different purposes. Those are all gambits. Gambits are just tactics. They're maneuvers. They're moves that we do, things that we do strategically to help advance our position, and in this case, get somebody on the phone. So examples of gambits might be, you can have them be paged. You can ask to be put on hold. You can have the receptionist go put you on hold and go find the person. You can have the receptionist slip a note, on a Post-it note, and slip that note into them while they're in the meeting or on the call. If they happen to be out of the office, you can ask if you can have their business cell phone number. You can ask to be transferred to their business cell phone number. You can ask if they have an executive assistant you can speak with. You can ask for another person in the company, right? There's lots of different gambits and maneuvers and things that you and I can do. But the thing is we have to be persistent. We have to be polite. We have to be professional, but we have to be persistent and actually work to fight to have a good conversation. We have to try all the gambits at our disposal. But the last resort that we're going to do after we've tried all the gambits and all the tactics and all the maneuvers, right? Our last resort, if necessary, is we leave a voice message or send an email. Now, notice where the voicemail or the email come in. Is it the first thing that we do? No, it's the very dead last thing that we do. Leaving a voicemail or sending an email is a last resort, not a first resort. But how often do you and I, when we hear the words, I'm sorry, she's not available, can I send you to her voice message? We shrug our shoulders and say yes. And we just default to leaving a voice message. And then we start this cycle again of the forever eternal follow-up, and things never work out so good. So the advice and recommendation today is, instead of increasing your call volume to 100 calls a day, for crying out loud, stop making 100, 200, 300 cold calls per day. And instead, start asking more questions. Listen to where that decision maker is and what they're doing. Get curious about the context and what's going on. Use some gambits and maneuvers and fight for a conversation. And if all those things don't work, well, then for crying out loud, then leave a voice message. But don't default there. And for crying out loud, stop making 100 phone calls a day. You don't need to make that many if you're using the right kinds of gambits and asking the right kinds of questions and using the gatekeeper appropriately. So you don't need better leads. You don't need to get access to more cell phone numbers. You don't need to follow up 6 to 8 times before you get somebody. And you certainly don't need to switch from business to business to consumer sales. And you obviously don't need better scripts. All you need is these 4 steps to help you get a good conversation going. So I hope this has helped you guys. If it has, then let me invite you to go to our special Facebook group, Mastering Your Sales Elevator Pitch Facebook group. It's a free group, a free community there where you get access to all sorts of training and coaching on unlocking the secrets to better sales prospecting so that you can fill up your sales pipelines and earn the kind of money that you certainly want to. And anyway, we do have an upcoming sales prospecting workshop that I want to invite you to. There'll be a link down below in the description. Be sure to click on that link, register for the workshop for free as my guest. It'll be we'll be unlocking the secrets to how you can boost your sales revenue and build a six-figure sales income, even if you're brand new to selling, or even if you're frankly just not a very good closer, which is a lot of us, and that's okay. You can still double and triple your income, even if you're not a great closer. So don't worry about that. So my name is Terry Hansen. On behalf of all of us, Podunk Spuds here in Idaho, wish you a great rest of the day. Keep up the good work, and until we meet again, we'll see you soon on the next episode of The Terry Hansen Show. Take good care. Bye-bye, guys.